Here we go. Here we go. Happy Thursday. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Today we're going to answer a question from somebody that is so amazing that sent us a request. So we're going to talk about their answer, their question. And Mr. Harrison Klein will be joining in a minute. So while we do that, I just wanted to come in and say hello as we've been doing this for the last maybe 2.5, 3 weeks. So we really enjoyed the session that we did last week, or the first one. And we loved it. We're going to do another one in July. So this time we're going to do it in a 5-day challenge instead of one long day. So this way it's manageable and really easy, bite size. So welcome, Harrison. Good morning, good day to everybody. I love your jacket. I love that color. But woo!
Thank you. We were going to have a call with Dr. James Dentley this morning, so I dressed up for you.
That is so awesome. I mean, this man is just incredible, everybody. Every day I learn something more about Harrison. And if you haven't known, if you haven't heard, Mr. Harrison Klein has been studying genius since the age of 12. And that by itself is incredible. And proximity is power. So I was just telling everybody how grateful I am for, being around you and learning from you and doing this mentorship for so many coaches and individuals, that moms and dads that want to grow. And today is special because we have two things that we're going to talk about today. One is the invite for the 5-day challenge. We're going to cover that towards the end. But the main thing for us is the Wealthy Mofos today. We had a request to talk about self-esteem and how does that affect your growth? How does that affect bringing you to that next level? Because we really want you to have this self-esteem, develop that competence, that concentration, and that commitment to you. But how do you do it? What is this about? What does this have to do with the $1 million? Like, do you feel comfortable saying you're a $1 million coach? Do you feel comfortable showing up like that? Where does self-esteem negate you? And because if you don't have it, it could become an issue. And Harrison's gonna give you a few nuggets today. So get a piece of paper, get a pen, get your favorite pen. I have few favorite pens, and depending how I feel, depending what I use. Like this one, I just got it from a beautiful man. All the way from China, and it's a beautiful thing. I mean, I love it, and it's nice and have a weight to it. So sometimes I use a nice pen to write things. So get a piece of paper and pen because Harrison's about to drop some gems on self-esteem, and this came by request. So if you're out there listening to us and you have something specific for the Wealthy Mofos, ask. All right. If you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook group, the I Want Millions Facebook group, just send us the request. We are the ones doing this. It's not like, we have 10 people. We are doing this to give you the blueprint how to build a $1 million business. And we're documenting everything. So this is one of the ways. So please send us your questions and we'll be happy to answer on one of the shows. Doesn't need to be the same day, but we will do it. So Harrison, self-esteem, and I'm glad to have you here today, my friend.
Well, thanks for your compliments, and I am equally blessed to be around you. It's a great experience, the way we collaborate and the energy that flows between us. Self-esteem also has a lot to do with energy, so I need you guys to understand that. So let's just launch into that, if it's okay with you and all the people out there. We can cut to the chase fairly easily. And the thing is that, to be rich, basically to be rich and be $1 million anything, you have to have a bigger panorama of experience and perception than the average human being. That just is the way things are. I don't know how that was structured, but somebody structured it that way. I think it comes from that part. But you have to have a bigger panorama of experience and perception than the ordinary person. So self-esteem really is the eradication and the elimination, if you come down to it, of ego. So bottom line is we have to diminish our ego, and that takes a lot of different things. But human behavior, contrary to most teachings out there at this particular point, does not actually respond to the environment. Most people think that human behavior responds to the environment, but in actuality, human behavior responds to what you really want internally. You never have anything, you never experience anything you don't actually want. It isn't always conscious. Sometimes the subconscious organizes and controls the way you behave and the things you say and the things you do. But human behavior does not respond to what's out there. It isn't out there that you have to make a really high impact. It's in here that you have to do that in order to have self-esteem. One time Paul McCartney described self-esteem as feeling light as a feather floating on heated tubes. So that's really a feeling of elevation, right? Light as a feather, feel, and the more self-esteem you have, the easier that lightness of feathering feeling is, basically. Self-esteem, leads you into the Tao. Basically, the bottom line is it leads you into the Tao, the course of nature. And that means that the inside and the outside are flowing together. So this is really an important portion because nobody can really experience anything of high value if the inside and the outside are not flowing together. If you're only experiencing what's going on and you're responding to that by a reaction or whatever the case may be, you are using ego. The I itself, really, anytime you are aware of the I, bottom line is you're when you're aware of the I, you're conditioned to the sensation of resistance, to the sensation of experiencing things. And when you're aware of the I, you're in discomfort. When you start to eradicate the ego, you start to move into flow. Now, flow was the basis of wealth. Flow is the basis of anything. Basically, everything likes to flow. Conversation likes to flow. Fun likes to flow. Love relationships like to flow. When you're not in flow, you are in resistance. So, and self-esteem is about getting into the flow. So when we talk about self-esteem, there are three things that are really important in self-esteem, and I'm just going to lay this on you, and you guys can play. I hope I can get some feedback while you are here. But self-esteem is a matter, if you break it down, to about three different elements. The first is unconditional self-acceptance. That means that you like yourself, that you accept yourself no matter what you do, good, bad, or ugly. So that means that it's okay. It's you take responsibility for who you are, and you accept that. It isn't that you always have to like your behavior, but you accept that it came from you. And when you can accept everything as you start to move into a higher space of being. You're accepting responsibility for what's going on in your entire world and environment. So unconditional self-acceptance is the first part of self-esteem. You can't get rich if you're always fighting yourself. So many people are in turmoil internally. They don't accept themselves. I can't tell you the number of students I've had over the years that have talked about how much turmoil they experience internally, and the fact that they can't get traction or a grip on the things that they love because they've been conditioned to have particular behaviors that are not natural to them. So so you have to accept yourself, and when you accept yourself unconditionally, you realize it's okay no matter what you do. You're still you, and that's not something to be self-critical about. So you can criticize the behavior, but not the you, because you're a life form, and your life form is source energy. The second part of self-esteem, which is really very important, that every single confident person basically displays in their behavior, is self-respect. So self-respect is a situation whereby the word respect means to look again. So it's about introspection. It's about looking at yourself from the inside. To look at, the word spect means to look at, and respect means to look again. So it's about introspection. So self-respect is a really important part. When you understand who you are, that the world is in relation to you rather than you in relation to the world, now you have a handle on how to achieve and how to experience and how to do things. remember, we get in this world what we are and not what we want. So we have to understand who we are. That's the first thing. So self-acceptance is first, self-respect is second. So you have to look at yourself internally. You have to look at what you're feeling. The two most important questions, the three most important questions on this earth, basically in all human forms, are who am I? What am I feeling? And where am I going? So, if you can, to get rich, you have to make a decision as to where you're going. You have to accept yourself as that's the thing. You don't have to fight your decisions. You don't have to fight your desires, fight your experiences. And you have to respect means you have to look at internally what's going on. So you have to do those things. And then the third part of self-esteem is self-efficacy, which means that you have to make a decision um, to be good at something. You want self-esteem, you have to make a decision to be good at something. It doesn't matter what you make a decision, what you want to be good at. What matters is that you have made the decision to approach things with excellence or with care or whatever way you want to define good. But you have to be good at something to feel, to be really at a high level of, feeling good. Remember what Paul McCartney said. He said, feeling light or feeling self-esteem is a feeling of weightlessness. That's the feeling of, you're not attached to that I, which is full of resistance. You're attached to the experience of no separation. In other words, the ego isn't there that's between you and what's going on. And so you and it merge as one thing. The inside and the outside are the same. Not I feel this internally and externally this is happening. So, when you're aware of the I, you begin to understand. When you get self-esteem, you begin to understand to switch away from the the experience of other things happening that to you. You begin to be the responsible experience, the responsible energy that causes those experiences. So you have to be full of praise. You have to be, no, you in self-esteem, you are neither full of praise nor blame. And that's really important. People who are high self-esteem don't do a lot of praising. They don't do a lot of gossip. They don't do a lot of blame. They don't do any of that kind of stuff. Actually, when you approach somebody who has high self-esteem and you gossip and you say negative things about other people, it's like throwing a stone into a deep well. You don't even get a ripple. They don't respond to that negativity. So when you are in that particular space, you have to understand that, all is, for you and not you experiencing that outside. So there isn't any separation. So when you begin to experience energy as you, when you begin to experience all as you, then your self-esteem rises really dramatically because now you're responsible for everything. The people with low self-esteem are people in conflict. The people who are angry at others or angry at themselves or blame others for what's going on, the government, the circumstances, the poverty, all those kinds of things. When you release, that's all ego. When you release that blame, you start to come into self-esteem. And when you start to come into self-esteem, that's the beginning of love. When you release that, that's the beginning of love. And you can't get rich without loving something. Even the criminals, they love their violence.
Yeah, they're good at that, right? I mean, I love it. What Harrison just shared was so many. And those who are watching live, we really love you. Thank you so much. Ask your question in the comment. This was a master class. I don't know about all of you. I'm gonna go watch it right after this later on today a few times because he mentioned the way to self-esteem. He mentioned the process. He mentioned the methods. And you that listening, you are the one that wants to become the $1 million coach. You doesn't mean you're missing all of them. You could be missing one or two. So when you come into the environment with us, we will teach you step by step because we will teach you all this in more detail so you can get the depth. Because that's the idea, is to get to this quick transformation. So we start having this conversation with you, you'll get that proximity, and then you'll get the transformation. I love that. Unconditional self-acceptance, self-respect, and make a decision to be good at something. Like that's part of the the compensation. That's part of the the how you're gonna get better. Really, really cool. Let me check to see if there's any question. I said somebody was watching and somebody was here. I can't tell. The system doesn't tell me, but it says there were a few people watching live. Um, I like the part where you said we get what we are, not what we want, and we have to take this responsibility of this issue, but it doesn't mean we need to be hard on ourselves. I think a lot of people are too hard and too critical of their shortcomings, too
Yes.
critical of their vocals, too critical of their looks, too critical that they're overweight, underweight, this color, that color. There's so many ways that we are too critical, and that just takes us down too far, and we need to let go of all that.
Yeah, we have to accept the notion that all things are okay as they are. And when you accept yourself as you are, then you can attract what you want.
Hmm.
So, and that you make a decision to be good at something, and that attracts that begins to bring money, people, information, processes, technology, and experiences to you. So, the higher your self-esteem, the easier everything is. And so, to be rich, most rich people who are in the $1 million category, and especially those that are in the helping professions like coaching, basically, when they have high self-esteem, that actually you know transfers over to other people in their presence. They can feel you. You set the energy parameters of any conversation, of any interaction, of any experience. So I've walked into a room where people have been arguing, and this is going to sound woo woo, but my energy has calmed it down, simply by
Hmm.
being there. Just a few minutes ago, we had an electrician arguing with, before I got on the call, we had an electrician that we have arguing with a contractor. And I said, no, 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 this isn't going to happen. That's unacceptable, basically. And in my head, I said, this is not going to happen. And it calmed down. It calmed down within about a minute. So, you know, and we said, we don't. This is unacceptable in our experience. I don't want you guys arguing with each other. You're both working for me, so you either do the job and not argue with each other, or one of you's got to go, or both of you's got to go.
Love it. It's a perfect example of what Harrison mentioned earlier, right? And I think I had a note on it. Experience this energy as you, and you get to where you want to be. Like you get to do that. So we gotta close soon because we have something coming up. So I want all of you to go to the wealthymofos.com and sign up. We have a 5-day challenge. It's gonna be nice and sweet, 1 hour a day. VIPs get 2 hours. So you decide what you want. Proximity is power. So we encourage you to become a VIP. Start treating yourself as such. That's going to raise your self-esteem by itself. So it's going to be July 17th. Let me find the comment here, and I'm going to share it on the screen. July 17th, Monday to Friday, 1 hour a day, where we're going to really share with you again how this works. It doesn't matter if you've seen this before. Show up, invite your friends, and also I want to invite you to come to the Facebook group. We have a lovely Facebook group that is growing, and there's so many things happening in it. Like we add more value there, of course, right? So here I'm going to put it on the screen for a second. Let me make sure it's sharing. So if you go to the Facebook group, the Wealthy Mofos, you'll find it, and you will basically start seeing more of us. Proximity is power, right? So you can see us there. This is the whole whammy here. There's at least 54 people here now. So start collaborating with each other. These are coaches, entrepreneurs like yourself that you can be in that environment. Okay. So join, join, join. Don't wait. Don't delay it. Click on it today, and then
Bring
you'll
your
start getting
friends.
details and reminders. Sorry, go
Bring,
ahead.
bring your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Bring your friends. Shall we play one of the testimonials from one of the amazing high executive entrepreneurs that said a few nice things about us? So
Sure,
we
sure.
finish with that for today. All right, we have time for that.
I do want to say one last thing about
Oh, sure, go
self-esteem.
ahead.
Yeah, and this is, I'm sorry I forgot to say this before, but the French have a saying, and that saying is basically, to understand all is to forgive all. That is the beginning.
Mm,
That is the beginning of self-esteem.
That is so sweet. That's so sweet. So as you see here, we were just about to meet with James Dentley. Yesterday we were with Jeff Hazlett. This is Forbes Riley here. This is Laura Langmeyer. So you can go to that Wealthy Mofos that you registered. You listen to them. But today I want to listen to John DeMartini. He is just phenomenal. I love what he does and how he shares his knowledge and expertise. And let's hear what he's got to say.
Hi, everyone. This is Dr. John DeMartini. You may know me from The Secret or from my books or possibly been attending some of my programs. I'm here today with my friend, Harrison Klein, who I've known now since 2007 or even before. He has been involved in personal development and self-mastery and helping people in entrepreneurship and on their spiritual quest, as well as wealth development for many, many years. And like myself, he travels the world and assists people in doing extraordinary things with their extraordinary lives. I'm very blessed to be able to say something about his new program on his personal mentorship program and mastermind. Imagine getting around with a group of people that are wanting to mentor under his wisdom and also get around other like-minded individuals that want to do extraordinary things as entrepreneurs and will build wealth, doing what they love, being inspired, and also accomplishing a service to the world. So if that is something inspiring to you, you need to check out his website. You need to take advantage of the man's wisdom, because Harrison, as I've said, I've known him for a number of years. He's done a lot of service for a lot of people, and that could be you. So if you want to expand your life and want to have an inspired life and be an entrepreneur, making the money that you want, and also accomplishing something that means and makes a difference, all I can say is that take advantage of Harrison. He'll make a difference in your life.
So good. Thank you, Dr. DeMartini. It is incredible to be in his energy. And, Harrison is a very dear friend of John, and we've been on a couple podcasts together and interviews. He is just phenomenal. So you've heard it from him. Just want you all to have an amazing day. Join the challenge, share the news, share the love, and proximity is power. I'm going to finish with that. That's my final words for today. Proximity is power.
So I leave you with the words about relationship. I don't have a direct self-esteem quote, but I leave you with some words about relationship. And now that you've learned something about self-esteem, I give you the words of James Taylor, who said, "Shower the people you love with love. Tell them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out right if you only will." All right, this is Harrison Klein.
I'm El-Rassi.
And we are the Wealthy Mofos. Yay!
Thank you all so much for joining. We look forward to meeting you.